Greetings from AthenaVision Studios, and welcome to our 7th installment of Parthenon Particles. I'm Lieutenant Joseph Fugate, and I'll be your host. Our special guest for this episode will be Ensign Pam Maness, a graphic artist and cosplay designer from the Athena's engineering department. In Star Trek news, or lack thereof, it is apparent Star Trek will continue on another few years without a theatrically released film. At CinemaCon, an annual trade show in Las Vegas for the motion picture industry, where the big studios outline upcoming films, Paramount dropped any mention of Trek movies. Hope seems to have been lost for a fourth Kelvin Universe film since last year, but there was mention at the time of a film referred to as Untitled Star Trek Origin Movie, presumably to be released in 2026. It has been reported that the film was to be directed by Toby Haynes, known for his work on the Star Wars series Andor, and written by Seth Grahame-Smith, with J.J. Abrams returning to produce. Alas, no Star Trek film was mentioned by Paramount, and it's thought that if they are going to get production started on a film in time for the franchise's 60th anniversary in 2026, they're running out of time. Earlier this month, Paramount finally revealed a vague release date for the third season of Strange New Worlds when it said that the series would arrive this summer. It's now thought that a date has been narrowed down, as it has been announced that the Season 3 premiere will be a part of the Tribeca Film Festival on Saturday, June 16th. With this in mind, it's believed to be a good bet that the premiere will possibly be available to stream around Thursday, June 19th. Thursday being the date new Star Trek episodes typically drop. Sometime in July is also a possibility, but it's thought that August is likely too late for the premiere. Even though it's unlikely that any of us in the East can attend, I've been keeping our viewers posted on the Star Trek component of Universal Fan Fest at the theme park's Hollywood Resort. Having opened recently on April 25th, the primary attraction, an experience called Red Alert, is said to, quote, boldly take guests on an immersive adventure aboard the USS Enterprise NCC-1701D on a mission to prevent an interstellar threat, end quote. The scripted walkthrough includes costumed actors playing the parts of the crew, special effects, and, as I previously reported, ends on the actual Enterprise D bridge set used for production of the third and final season of Star Trek Picard. Themed food will also be served at the venue, called Pork's Cafe at Hollywood and Dine. Dishes displayed here will include Cardassian dog and Orion spice funnel cake, Klingon targ legs displayed here with the triple truffle trio dessert and Romulan ale, and for vegetarians, Vulcan fritters, which are fried mushrooms and hummus dusted with a red spice Vulcan Idic symbol. In addition to Romulan ale, ales from Bajor and Andoria will also be served, as well as Klingon blood wine, Clomik tea, Kanar, Earl Grey tea in hot and cold varieties, and a French Bordeaux wine inspired by the Picard family vineyard. Now, let's take a break and I'll share some more Star Trek memes. I have some away missions to report on. Commander Ryan Peck and recruit Dean Buckingham attended Nashville Tabletop Day on April 19th. This is a yearly free event with over 400 attendees. Stellarfest was April 4th through the 6th in Duluth, Georgia. This was a general science fiction convention that had dozens of fan panels on Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, and many other great science fiction movies and TV shows. The Star Trek guests were Stephen Manley, who played Ponfar Spock in Star Trek 3, and Sandy Gimple, who played the Salt Vampire in Mantrap and a Telosian in The Cage. Fleet Captain Kathy Peck, Commander Ryan Peck, and recruit Buck Melton presented a panel on what it was like to be a Star Trek fan in the year 2000. And Kathy and Ryan were part of a table read of 2 issues of the 1960s Gold E Star Trek comics. Lieutenant Junior Grade Lois Jolly played a Romulan in a Star Trek fan film that was filmed at the convention. It was a first time convention that they are sure to bring back every year. AthenaVision's Zoom meetups over the last month included a remixed format for trivia with an attempt to make the event more interactive for members in attendance, which amounted to 8 people for this particular event. Our social gathering in the Owl and Odyssey Lounge also had 8 members in attendance, plus Lieutenant Commander Phil Barnes from Starbase One. As is typical, we had fun discussing Trek and other science fiction and enjoyed a lot of great show and tell items, including signed photos and a mystery magnet. In coming events, the Athena and Starpod log will have a presence at Wonderfest in Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday, May 31st and Sunday, June 1st. Star Trek guests in attendance will include Robin Curtis, who played Lieutenant Savick in The Search for Spock, and Rick Sternbach, who was mostly responsible for the designs of 24th century Star Trek. Now, let's get to our guest. I'd like to welcome Pam Maness to the program. Pam is in our engineering department on the USS Athena, and she's a graphic artist. Welcome to the program, Pam.
Thank you for having me, Joseph.
How did you get interested in Star Trek?
Well, kid, only child in the 70s, you watch all the reruns on TV after school. So that was one of my big shows was the Star Trek, the original series. I loved it. So every chance I got, I would watch it. And then, lo and behold, about middle ways of the 70s, they started having the animated series after the other had gone off. So I thought, well, now that's going to be neat. And it was like, oh, and it's the same voice. The people are doing their own voices. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So uh, I don't remember exactly how old I was in the 70s, maybe 10 thereabouts. But I was a big cartoon geek, big computer. Now I do a lot on the computer, or I did when I worked. But I always enjoyed the science fiction things on television and the movies and whatnot.
Do you still consider the original series to be your favorite series?
Yeah, that's the favorite for me so far, but I do enjoy all of them because they just continue and get better as they go, and everyone's got its own charm about it. So, you have to look at it in the context of when they were filming it and how the times were at the time. And, you can go through and watch all of the classic ones now, all the way through Enterprise. And then some of these new ones, I'm still trying to catch up on these, like Discovery, and I've seen them once, but not gone back and watched them again, so.
Okay.
It, but I like most all of them.
Do you have a favorite character?
I tend to like, well, everybody loves Mr. Spock, but I always liked Dr. McCoy. He was one of my
As
favorites.
do I.
Mm-hmm. I always liked him. So
How did you get involved with the Athena?
the Athena. Um, well, myself and some of the girlfriends, Loretta and Laura, and we were all just talking about, well, we all like Star Trek. We need to find us a group to get into. So we looked up, what we could join, and we found the Athena. And then Laura had met Kathy and Ryan at one of the cons in Kentucky, I think Louisville. And she said, well, I think I met those people, and they were really nice. I said, well, we need to join up with them. So it just kind of snowballed from there. So we've got all of our friends here that are into the Trek that we like to hang out with to join. So that's uh that's real nice. We're all
Hey, you
talking
guys
about it.
kind of have your own
Our own little
little world to yourself out
we
there.
do we do have our own little away team, if you want to call it that, or our space shuttle, or whatever you want to call it.
Runabout, I'd say.
Runabout, yeah, we run about around here, so that would be good. Good terminology.
Okay. And as I mentioned at the top of the program, you're a graphic artist.
That's correct.
You uh, specifically designed the fifth anniversary logo that is over my shoulder here.
Yes,
Uh, you also designed the banner that's hanging behind you. That's sort of a one-off deal.
sure
What's that
thing.
made out of?
That is actually a baby blanket. It's a polar fleece blanket that I sent off. I had a coupon and it said get for free. So I said, well, I'll send off this poster that it says boldly going up at the top. I'll move the screen.
Yeah.
There's boldly and there's going in our 50th anniversary logo and our Athena logo. And Kathy had asked for something to set up on a table at one of the conventions, and I had fixed that, and sent it to her so she could put it in one of those little acrylic frames and put it on the table and use it. And I thought, well, I have that. I think I'll have a blanket or a banner or something made out of it. So it was free, just had to pay for shipping. And it came in, and I just thought it was really, really nice. So I thought, well, I'm going to hang that up on the wall like a tapestry. So that's how that came into being. It was a free offer.
Ah,
So,
very nice.
mm-hmm. And it travels well. We took it to Miss oh, what is her name? Miss Thelma's 100th birthday, and had it hanging up
Ah,
there too. Vicky asked, "Will you bring your poster?" And I said, "Your banner?" And I said, "Well, sure." So we hung that up on the wall. So it's quite. It's not so big that you can't move it around, and it's just very nice.
okay. You also designed a really impressive, I thought it was an impressive recruitment ad for Starfleet Command. I'll display that for our viewers right now. Uh, can you tell me if that was just something you did on your own, or did someone
Well,
request that?
no, I was just looking through the newsletter and I read the little part at the bottom with Badgie. It says, "Show us what you got." And I thought, well, this is kind of what worked in the newspaper industry and the advertising department for 22 years. I said, well, this is what I do. So I'll just
Okay.
do something. Well, uh, our friend Loretta Tobias and her husband Don, myself, and Loretta Augustine, who are all now members of the Athena, had gone to a con, and we had our photos made. And the girl said, "Well, we can put your photo on a Star Trek background." And we all thought, well, wouldn't that be neat if we got on the transporter pad? She said, "Oh, yeah, I can do that, blah, blah, blah." Well, we waited and we waited, and finally it came in. I think she had forgotten about us. Well, it
Oh,
came in, and uh, Loretta sent it to me, and I looked at it. Okay, I'm a stickler for proportion, and it was not in proportion. Our
oh.
bodies and the scale and everything. I said, well, now we're not having this. So I took it upon myself to rework that. and
Okay.
I reworked that photo that she had sent of us in our costumes. And then I thought, well, why stop at just on the transporter pad? So I found images, online, and I found the transporter panel. And then I found somebody working the transporter panel with their hands. And I thought, well, I'll put that in there because you got to have somebody working it. So,
Yes.
you know, and then I did a few more things and made it look like we were materializing with the effect, there, and did some
Okay.
layering, things like that. So I, that was, it was really fun. And when we got through, it was like, oh, I got to send that off, because I just got on a tangent because it didn't look like I wanted it to, and I wanted to make it look better.
Okay.
And after that, I thought, well, I need to send that in because that's what I do, and I've got something I think they might like. So that's how that happened. I didn't know if they were going to put it in there or not. And Kathy told me, well, they put it in there, but they didn't say who you were. I said, well, that's all
Yeah.
right. It's in there.
That
And
okay.
that was that. So
I think it's really impressive. And of course, I didn't know you'd done it because there was no
there was
credit
no
to it.
credit.
So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
you also helped me out with a what's called a bug, which is down in the corner of my videos.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I didn't know how to make a PNG where you could form the photo to the shape of what it was. So
Mm-hmm.
you helped me do that, and I am very appreciative of it.
You're
So
you're most
thank you
welcome.
again for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're also into cosplay. You make costumes.
I love to dress up, make costumes. I like to gather pieces and parts. I like to go to the thrift store and find things. I had rather I could make it from scratch if I was patient enough with myself, but a lot of times I'll find stuff that I can rework, or this will work for that, and I can do this a little bit too, and it'll look like that. So I like to piece and part and put stuff together.
Okay, so not so much from scratch. That's what I
Uh,
was going to ask, is
yeah.
if you use
Sometimes I can,
patterns or
yeah. Sometimes I could do from scratch if I wanted to, but most of the time I like to take a shortcut if I can because I get so excited about wanting the finished product. I don't want
okay.
to wait about, doing it. So,
And you won a which I'll display for our viewers now. You won a contest, I'm to understand, at in Corinthal or Mississippi back in 1992, was it? And it
uh,
was a three-person cosplay.
well, now it was in, let me check that date. I think was 1992 was the Renaissance Festival. Let me check that date. The cosplay, I think was 20, let me check. I've got it here somewhere.
Yeah, I suppose I did misremember
Well, it's not
the
like I can
date.
send you everything under the sun. I get carried away when I start sending pictures. So, let's see.
It'll be
That was
correctly displayed.
2021 is
Okay.
when that
Wow. Okay,
was
so that was recently.
recently. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it'll have the correct date on the photo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you were queen of her. Okay, so that was the one back in 1992. You were queen
Yes.
of the Florence, Alabama Renaissance Festival.
That is correct. I attended UNA in Florence, and they had just had the Renaissance Fair going maybe 5 or 6 years by that time. And uh, some of my friends that I was going to school with, I said, well, I'd like to go and do that, sometime. That looks like a lot of fun. We get to dress up. And my friend that was there at the time said, well, we need to go they do, it's the whole month of October is their Renaissance month. And um, next to the last weekend in October is the fair, and it's free. You don't have to pay admission to get in. They have it at Wilson. Park, downtown Florence, and it's full of vendors and people come and dress, and they have uh, all kind of everything Renaissance that you could think of. They have sword play. They have one time they even had an elephant. You could ride an elephant. That was, it was something different every year. But
Okay.
and then the weekend before the fair, they have what they call the feast, and they sell tickets for that, and the people that run the Renaissance Fair call themselves the Round Table, and they meet once a month, and they plan each year's festival, what they're going to have, and if they're having a theme and whatnot. And at each feast, there's a contest. And if you are at the feast and they give out dessert at the end, and there is a hidden coin in the dessert. So it's random pick. You never know who's going to get it. And that year, first year that I attended, my cheesecake had the coin in it. Well, what that
Oh,
meant was I was chosen to be the queen for that year over the Renaissance Festival. So from 92 to 93, I was queen. And I could help, meet at the round table, which I was in Corinth at the time, and all that was going on in Florence. But my friend was on the round table, so she was my go-between. And
okay.
so that worked out really well. But they would crown
Okay.
you.
Wow. That's different than I
It's different.
expected. I was going to
Won't you?
ask you if that was something that was elected by the fairgoers or if there was a committee that elected.
Mhm. It's just
Okay. So
by
it's just,
chance.
wow, just by
So
chance.
by chance, and I'm like, well, okay. So that uh the fair is like it's a Saturday and a Sunday. So when you get there, the first day is whoever was king or queen that year, and then the Sunday is the day that the next person takes over for the reign for the year. So it's you're there from the Sunday until the next year's fair to a Saturday. So
Okay.
that's how that came about. And it was just you just there, you preside over the fair, and it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And
Okay.
later they had an anniversary. I'm not sure if it was 15 or 20 years later. They invited past kings and queens to come because they were having a celebration, anniversary of the fair. I'm not sure which year that they were celebrating. And that year, the Renaissance magazine, which is no longer in publication, but at that
Oh,
time, they came and covered the Alabama Renaissance Fair, and they took photos all through the fair. And my photo was featured in the Renaissance magazine in the purple outfit that I wore to the anniversary fair.
okay.
So that's just more of that dress up. I love Halloween, Star Trek, you name it. We dress up like something all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that there was a lot of variety and the things, the costumes that you create.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was Pioneer Women, and
Yes.
it appeared that your most recent one was a golden owl.
Yes.
I
Yes.
like that one. Uh, I
Oh,
think
we
I saw
dressed
some pirates
some
and
pirates. We dressed up as the Hocus Pocus Sanderson sisters one time.
yes,
Uh,
that's my
those.
best friend likes those movies, but I've never been interested, though I do like uh a few of the actresses.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We thought it would be fun. We attended a fall festival at our historic Jacinto courthouse. The counties, Alcorn County, Prentiss County, and Tishomingo County used to be one big county as Tishomingo County, and the courthouse back in the 1800s was the main hub of that big county before they split it up into three. And so we have the historic grounds, and they do they're a foundation, and they preservation and historical stuff and whatnot. And every year here lately, they've started having a fall festival. Well, the first one that they had, they were going to show the Hocus Pocus movie uh on the grounds. So we thought, well, wouldn't that be neat to dress up like the Hocus Pocus witches? And so we all ordered our costumes and fixed up, did up, and uh, Loretta Tobias's husband was Billy, the zombie guy. So he put a mask over his head. He said, "I'll put this over my head, and we'll be good." So
Okay. I was wondering
that's
about
where
that.
that's where we were at that time. I think I sent a
Okay.
photo of that. So
That
we hit
is right. I
everything
do
we can.
recall you now saying that you didn't make those costumes, but you
Mm-mm.
did your own wig, which
On the
was a
wig,
very unique wig.
it was very interesting. I played the one with the crooked hair, and that
Mary,
was it.
I
Mary,
saw was the
yes,
name of it.
Mary Sanderson. Yes, how could I forget? Kathy Najamy's character, and
Okay.
so it was. We had a good time. A lot of people, oh look, they look just like them. Oh, they look just like them. Because we had the hair and everything. We just went around playing with everybody, and the kids
Okay.
loved it. So a
I
lot
bet
of
they did.
entertaining for us too, because we're just big hams anyway.
Okay. You've got a project in progress right now. You're doing an Endorian wig and costume.
That's correct. I've got the wig and I have the antennae fixed to it, and I'm not
I'll
sure.
display those.
I'm not sure exactly which way I'm going to go with it. I've purchased some blue makeup, but I've not got brave enough to try it all on yet. And I'm not sure about the costume, if I'm going to wear it with my Starfleet uniform, the red scant dress, or if I'm going to make a whole new or round up a whole new outfit to go with it. So that's where I am right now on that one.
Well, if you do a long sleeve costume, I'd suggest, and maybe you would do this, uh, blue latex gloves instead of makeup on your hands. I
Yeah,
we
that sounds like a plan. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that would get all over everything. I hadn't quite
yes.
figured that out yet. So that's a good idea. I like that.
We've got a member that I believe her part of her costume was doing the blue gloves. So
That's very smart. That way you can touch things and not smudge.
yes, and then not have to worry about washing it off afterward. So
Yes.
I used to work in a glove factory that made vinyl gloves.
Um,
They did have a what's called a nitrile or vinyl or latex machine in the back that made those types of gloves, but primarily we made vinyl gloves for which were are a looser fitting glove
hmm
for medical, scientific, and industrial purposes.
Oh
So,
yeah. hmm
all right, and
Interesting.
you showed me, which I said we could do as a show and tell item that I'll show our viewers now on the screen a record album that was available at Sears in 1975.
Yes.
What can you tell me about that?
That was one of my favorite things that I actually got to get because, we didn't have a lot. And so most of my Star Trek was watching it on the television. I didn't have a lot of, like I always wanted the Mego toys, but we didn't do that because we couldn't afford all that kind of thing at the time. So when I talked mother into letting me get this record, because I had a little record player in my room, and she said, "Well, yeah, we'll get that for you, because you hadn't had anything in a long time, and we'll let you have that." And there, like
Nice.
again, they was the actual actors' voices doing the stories. There was three stories on the album. Uh,
Okay.
and I've got it right here.
Oh, nice.
Uh, three stories: Passage to Moab, In Vino Vertes, and The Crier in Emptiness. It says three
Okay.
exciting, complete stories. I found this. I had it in storage, and I found it, and I haven't had time to play it yet
Okay.
because I don't. My record player is a little bit shot, so uh, that's my next thing to do is be sure I've got something I can actually play it on again. I'd love to listen to it again because it's been years since I actually listened to it.
Okay. I'm a little surprised at what it is. I wasn't sure if it was going to be uh music. I didn't expect it to be uh short stories.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan has once talked about on his Starpod Trek podcast with Kathy about an album that he had that was really just interviews
Oh, well, now
with
that's nice.
Trek cast and crew.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
So, and he was, I think, a little disappointed in that. So he wanted to actually have music and such instead of just people talking. So,
Mm-hmm. People talking. Yeah. Well, this is actual stories, so it was really nice to have. Because
okay,
when you couldn't watch it on television, you just pop on that story and listen to it.
very nice. All right, well, that's all I've got to talk to you about. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
I think that's pretty much covers it. I'm just a creative nut. I just love to do everything with my hands. I
I
sew.
see you've got something in the background that says Star
Yes,
Trek costumes on it.
yes, this is another one of my favorite books.
I've never seen that before.
And let's see, it's got look, here's the Mira stuff.
Okay,
It's a lot of color plates, a lot of good photos, references and stuff. So if I wanted to go back and use it for research, I wouldn't have to worry about the screen closing up on me and the screensaver coming on. I can look in my book. But it's all the classic stuff. And there's some
okay,
here's the Klingon, the wedding dress.
okay.
Got all
I
kind
caught
of
a
stuff
glimpse of
in.
Geordi a little bit ago.
Yeah, all kind of stuff in here. Let's see, it's got some Enterprise stuff in it. Here's the Janeway when she was in the I can't
Oh,
think of yeah, it was like Flash
Queen
Gordon.
Arachnia.
Yeah, Queen Arachne. It was like the Flash Gordon type thing.
Yes.
So, but
Um,
all kind of neat stuff in here. And I found
all
this at a
right.
discount. So at the
Reminds
time
me
it
of a
came out.
book that I have. I wish I could remember what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
That had close-ups of costumes and props and such, mostly from uh, the more recent shows, Next Generation and
Mm-hmm.
DS9 and Voyager.
Yeah. I think this
Well, I
goes
guess those
through.
aren't the more recent shows anymore, are they?
No, they're not. I'm just like showing my age.
Yeah, I suppose I am too. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So at 45. Well, anyhow, all right. Well, that's all I have. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, thank you, Pam, for joining us on Parthenon Particles. And as always, I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching our program and being a part of Starfleet Command and the USS Athena. Again, my name is Joseph Fugate, and I'll see you soon in another AthenaVision.